Tip number 1, remember that your code doesn't make what you want it to do, it makes precisely what you asked it to do. It will be really helpful when you have weird bugs. So don't waste time and energy asking to yourself, but why is this problem occurring? It's simply because you created it, and I did the same. Often I create bugs and I'm responsible of that. So take responsibility of all the problems that happens during your coding session. And remember that these kind of problems happen to any programmer. So we are all on the same boat. We all face the same issues. Tip number 2, when you're stuck and when a bug resists you, remember that you're probably a victim of the tunneling effect. So you need a way to get out of the wrong direction and to figure out how to have a new perspective, hopefully the right perspective. So there is a famous technique called the rubber duck technique. It consists in having a rubber duck on your desk, and when you're stuck, you can just talk to the duck and explain it the problem and detail it precisely, and you will see that will help you switch your perspective. Tip number 3, make it work first, then make it better. And it's a famous problem in programming, which consists in trying to make things perfect before they even work. So at first, make it work, and when it works, try to make it better. Tip number 4, or 4, it depends where you come from. Give your variables and functions clear and precise names. It's really important because then 6 months or a year later, you will way more easily remember what a specific piece of code does. So you won't even have to look at the code inside a function, for example. I have a clear example in mind that happened to me this week. I was working on a code base where a function was named something like, let's say, get restaurant ID. But what was returned was the restaurant itself, the object. Things like this slows you down. And it wasn't the only example of bad naming. There were 3 or 4 functions that had names that didn't match, that maybe match what they did at first, but then when the code evolved, the name of the functions didn't. Tip number 5, remember that a programmer is a maker. So if you are not able right now to create simple apps with only HTML, CSS and JavaScript, you won't be able to create apps after learning React or Angular or Vue. Simply because being able to create apps is a skill on itself. There is nothing magical in a framework or a library. It won't create the app for you. So create apps as often as possible. For example, you can create an app to log what you eat every day. You can create an app to log the exercises you practice during a workout, or you can create an app that will allow you to plan a workout. How many squats you want to do, how many push-ups, etc. You can create an app to simply fetch a weather report on a daily basis, or maybe twice a day. You can create, you see, there are countless examples. You see, it's simple apps, but that reinforces your skills of going from an idea to its implementation. So if you want to share your own tips, please leave a comment, smash the like button if you like this video, subscribe, and I'll see you soon.